So, good morning. Second year Bcom Computer Applications, semester 4. Second year Bcom Computer Applications, semester 4, Rdbms, and first year BA Computer Applications, semester 2, Rdbms. So, database structure, Dbms architecture, data models, revision. So, so what is database environment? So, purpose of 3-level database architecture. So, architecture of a Dbms, architecture of Dbms or 3-level architecture. External, conceptual and internal views. External, conceptual and internal levels or views, and logical and physical data independence, and DDL TML data models. Classification of data models. What are different data models? Like so. Similarly, purpose of importance of conceptual modeling. Functions and services of Dbms. Functions and services. Functions and services of Dbms and function and importance of systems. Software components of Dbms. Client server architecture. Advantages and functions and uses of transaction processing. So, all these are we may discuss here today. So, what are objective 3-level architecture and objectives of 3-level architecture? Means all users should be able to access same data. What is the 3-level architecture? External level, internal level and physical level, or external schema, internal schema and physical schema. A user's view is immune to change made in other views. Users should not need to know physical database storage data. So, why we require a 3-level architecture means, what are the main concepts of 3-level architecture means, all users should be able to access the same data from centralized databases. Means by using every application or by using every user or every database user can access full database and all the database tables and all the components of the table, like that. And users should not to know physical database storage details. Means there is no need to know how the databases is internally stored on physicals, how the file structures are designed, how the physical storage of database, like that. There is no need of knowing all these details by the users. Like that, the database 3-level architectures are designed. Next is DBA should be able to change the database storage structures without affecting the user's view. So, another, what is a DBA? DBA is a person. Database administrator is a person who is responsible for all the database operations, like database designing, database creations, architectures and various tables, relationship, establishing relationship, securities, backup and restoring facilities, daily backups. All these are the duties and responsibilities of DBS. So, DBA should be able to change database storage structures without affecting the user's view. Means we can DBA can change the storage structures, mediums, access methodologies without modifying the structure or without using or changing the physical structures of the databases. Internal structure of database should be unaffected by changes to physical aspects of storage. Means internal, we can also allow in 3-level architecture, so that internal structures of the database, means database designs, table structures can be modified without much more affecting the overall database design. DBA should be able to change conceptual structure of database without affecting all users. So we can also allowed to change the conceptual view or structure of the Dbms without modifying or affecting any user level databases. So this is called as ANSI Spark 3-level architecture, or simply called as a 3-level architecture. It is a compulsory essay type question from unit 1. It is a compulsory essay type question which is coming from unit 1. So what is a 3-level architecture? There are 3 levels. First one is external level, conceptual level, and internal level physical data organization. So what is a 3-level architecture? External view or external level, physical level, conceptual level or conceptual view, internal level or internal view, physical data organization. So in the external level, there are various users, end users, database users, application programs, developers can access the database. So by using various views, means what is a view? View is nothing but it is a part of a database. So all these users can access the database by using or by writing various queries in SQL and by using various database commands like that. In conceptual level, the conceptual schema. What is a schema? The structure. Schema means the structure of the database or Dbms, or structure of the overall database design, like that. Conceptual means like we are using some problem statements, identifying various inputs, data files, resources, like that. In conceptual level, we may identify various users, various procedures, various processes, like that. Internal level or internal schema. In internal level or internal schema, the physical databases are represented by using database like tables, relationships, fields, like database relationship, creating various relationships among databases, and like that. And physical data organization. Physical data or databases are stored in the physical medium on storage devices by using various database vendors like Oracle and others. So this is the 3-level architecture. So external level, users view of the database describes that part of database that is relevant to a particular user. So in external level, generally various users are used to try to access the database or database by using various application programs or by writing various application programs, like that. And in that level, it describes that part of database that is relevant to a particular user, means the database can be viewed by that user, and means the user can be viewed by his requirements only, not all or not others. Second one is conceptual level. Community view of the database describes what data is stored in the database and relationships. So in the conceptual level, all the relationships among various tables, databases are established. And in the internal level, third level is internal level. In the internal level, physical representation of the databases on the computer and describes how the data is stored on the. So in the internal level, the physical representation of databases, tables are created by using various SQL commands, and describes relationships, and describes how the data is stored in the databases, like that. So this slide explains about different levels of diagram. So data, another feature of Dbms or 3-level architecture is Data independence means logical data independence refers to immunity of external schemas to change in conceptual schema. Conceptual schema changes should not require changes to external schema or rewrites of application. So, another feature is we may not change, we may no need to change the internal schema or conceptual schema. So, without changing these two, we may modify the database design. So, data independence and this is another diagram of 3-level architecture. So, in this again 3 levels are used: internal schema and conceptual schema and external schema, external schema, external schema. So, external schema means generally there is an interface separates between these two layers of each of the diagram, that is external or conceptual mapping, that is also called as logical data independence, and physical data independence called as conceptual or intra mapping. So, in the least or internal level, internal schemas are used, that is file structures, storage units, like that, physical database storage. Conceptual schema means here we may use some diagrams to explain the database operations. External schema means table structures, by using some DDL, DML, DML commands, we may access the database. So, how to access the database, physical database? By using DDL and DML language, by using DDL and DML language. So, what is DDL, DML and DCL languages? So, SQL commands, all these are called as SQL commands. What are SQL commands? SQL is a structured query language which is used to, what is SQL? SQL is a structured query language. It is an English like language used in any Dbms or Rdbms package. By writing some queries or by using some commands, we may access the data or database or tables to retrieve the data in the form of records. So, that is DDL, data definition language, means allows the DBA or user to describe and name entities, attributes and the relationships required for the application, plus any associated integrity and security. So, DDL, by using DDL, DBAs are generally DBA or users, any users can create various tables like entities, attributes. Attributes means fields or columns or characteristics of the table or databases. Entities means some tables, relationships among various tables for the particular application. Similarly, we may also create integrity constraints and security constraints, user level constraints, like that by using DDLs. Next is database languages. DML provides basic data manipulation operations on data. What are basic data manipulation operations on data held in databases? Means data select command, create table command, select command, insert command, delete command, update command, like that. Procedural DML allows users to tell system exactly how to manipulate data, non-procedural language and 4th generation languages. So, data models. So, what are the different data models? What are the different data models available or used in any Dbms or Rdbms packages? So, integrated collection of concepts for describing data, relationships between data and constraints on the data in an organization. Generally, what is a data model? Data model is nothing but it is an integrated means what is integrated means totally connected collection of concepts for describing data, relationships between data and constraints on the data in the organization. So, data model comprises of a structural part, a manipulative part and possibly a set of integrity rules. So, every data model have different explains about the structural part, means the structure of the Dbms, and manipulative part means the various relationships or other procedures, and integrity rules, database integrity rules, how to create integrity and database rules like that. So purpose, why we require, what is the purpose of using data model means to represent data in an understandable way. So why we require a data model means there are many type of data models, as we know that, like hierarchical model, network model, relational model, entity relationship model, and object oriented model, OOPS model. So what are the various different types of data models means, like hierarchical model and network model, relational model, object oriented model, and entity relationship model. So what is the purpose of using data model? To represent data in an understandable way by using some tools, diagrams, graphs, and pictures, similarly using some by tables like that. So these are the purposes of using data. So why we require data models? Why we require generally what contains data models means structural part, means structures, database structures, table structures, and integrity rules. Integrity rules means some constraints, some conditions like that. Next is so categories of data models. So various types of different types of categories are there in data models for various each category or each model is used for different purpose, like object based. Some tools are used for object based applications, some are for record based, some are for physical, like that data models. So object based data models are entity relationship model, semantic and functional and object oriented, and for record based data models are relational data models, network data model, and a hierarchical data model. Physical data models are so these are the different types of data models. Record based data models means relational databases model, relational databases, network databases, and network data model, hierarchical model. Object oriented databases data models are entity model, entity relationship model, and object oriented model, physical data model. Also we may discuss all these things one by one here. So we will discuss or explain all the data models one by one. So first model is relational model. So this is the example of relational model. In relational model, generally the data or information is represented by using some tables or a tabular manner. Some tables are a tabular manner. For example, here we take two tables, branch and staff. Each table have a table name, some column or some fields, some sample data within it, and here is the example. Branch means branch table or a branch relation contains branch number, street, city, postcode, and staff table or a relation contains staff number, first name, last name, position, sex, date of birth, salary, branch code, like that. So network data model. In network model, this is the example of network model. In network model, we may represent the data or information in the form of some records. Some records, each record is having fields separated by some columns separated like this. Hierarchical model. Generally hierarchical model is it is also in hierarchical model also we may represent the data or information in the form of records only, but in a hierarchy manner, means that is from top to bottom approach. In the generally it is in it is also called as a tree model or a tree like structure. Each node is represented as a record. So conceptual modeling. What is conceptual modeling? Conceptual schema is the core of a system supporting all users. should be complete and accurate representation of an organization's data requirement. Conceptual modeling is a process of developing a model information use that is independent of implementation details. Result is a conceptual data model. So, what are the functions or functionalities of Dbms? What are the functions or functionalities of the Dbms? Means mainly it covers data storage, retrieval and updation process, a user accessible catalog, transaction support, concurrency control services, recovery services. So, these are the main and authorization services, support for data communication, integrity services, services to promote data independence, utility services. So, what are functions or functionalities? Main functions or main functionalities of any Dbms or Rdbms are data storage, means how the storage structures and how the data or Dbms is stored in the databases. What is the retrieval process, or what is the access modes, different access modes like that. And user accessible catalog and transaction support, means every Dbms records each and every transaction. What is a transaction? Transaction means it is a task, which is a task or which is an operation done in a Dbms or databases. Generally, all transactions are recorded with time and date like that. Concurrency control services means while accessing the same data or information, by the number of users, at the same time we may encounter some race between users. That race is called as concurrency control. So, generally any Dbms or Rdbms can can avoid concurrency control. So, recovery services. Recovery is another important feature. What is the recovery? Means whenever the Dbm database or database is corrupted or damaged, the recovery should be available to the database of the original database. And authorization services means user services, means there are number of users, different types of users are available, like DBA users, database administrators, ordinary users, programmer developers, like that. Next is support for data communication, and that is network integrity services. Integrity services means various integrity rules, integrity checks, like primary keys, secondary keys, and like constraints, null, not null, all these things. Utility services means some tools. So, what are the components? This is the another important. This is the structure of Dbms or architecture of the Dbms. So, generally it consists of it is a components or structure of a Dbms or architecture or a block diagram of Dbms engine. So, what are the different parts? What are the different parts or components of Dbms engine contains? Generally, Dbms engine contains divided into 3 levels. In the top level, programmers, users, and DBS, all these are end users, are access the database by using application programs and queries, database schemas, like that. And in the second level, Dbms engine, database management Dbms engine is there. In the Dbms engine, various components of are available, like DML preprocessor, query processor, DML compiler, dictionary manager, database manager, program object code. DML preprocessor means data manipulation commands, preprocessor means compilers, and query processor is it is also one of the components of Dbms engine to compile and execute the queries given by the users. And DDL compiler means data definition language. It is also one type of compiler used for DDL commands, like data definition, create table, insert into table, like that. Then program object code means the application program code. Program object code means the object code of the applications. And database manager is the overall responsible for all the maintenance of the databases. And a dictionary manager means all the each and every term of the database, tables, schemas are maintained in the dictionary manager. And in the last level, access methods, file manager and system buffers and database and system catalogs are used. So file manager is the another component of Dbms engine, which is used to manage all the file operations like Dbms file creations, renaming, copying, deleting, like that. And access methods means various types of different types of access methodologies are used, like direct access, random access, sequential mode, like that. And system buffers, and finally it comes to databases and system catalog means physical databases. Finally it comes to physical database portion of the Dbms. So this is the structure of or a diagram of a components of a Dbms, or a structure of a Dbms, or architecture of a Dbms, or a block diagram of a Dbms. It is a compulsory essay type question. Okay, thank you.